Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you guys what my family traditionally has for Christmas morning breakfast. We've been enjoying this meal as far back as I can remember. I think my great-grandmother is the one that started the tradition in our family. And I'd like to share it with you guys. So what we're making is a cheese strata. And what the ingredients that we're going to need are 20 eggs. And yes, I know that's a lot of eggs, but you're not going to be eating all 20 eggs at one time. It's going to be spread out through the whole dish. So 20 eggs. I've got one giant loaf of bread that I've removed all the crusts from. And I believe I've got about 24 slices here right now, but I still have some in reserve if we need more. I have 24 slices of American cheese, and still I have more in reserve if we need them. You're going to need some Dijon mustard. I'm using homemade, but any Dijon or brown mustard will work in this. And if you don't have that, but you do have the powdered mustard, that works. Takes a little bit longer to work that in. And I've got I've got a whole cup of milk here. I'm sorry. As well as some black pepper and some salt, and that's all the ingredients we're going to need. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and add in my mustard. And I'm only going to be using about a teaspoon of it. It doesn't require a lot. And I've already gone ahead and broke all the egg yolks up. It makes it a lot easier for these to incorporate into the milk, as well as our black pepper. And just as much or as little as you like of that. And then we want to season this well with salt, but not too much because the cheese is on the salty side. So probably a good 2 pinches of salt there. And now we're just going to whisk this together, and you want to make sure you get all your egg yolks incorporated in. Being careful not to splash it on you. Sometimes it gets a little out of control. These are a lot of eggs. But just take your time with it, and it will eventually come together. Because this does require a little bit of planning ahead if you're going to make it. You're going to want to get it ready the night before and allow it to set in the refrigerator so it gives the eggs a chance to soak up into the bread. And my kids and I traditionally on Christmas Eve night, after we've gotten everything ready in the house and they're just getting ready to go to bed, we come together in the kitchen and we get this meal together, and it's become, you know, our part of the family tradition that we've added in. When I was growing up, my dad was very much, oh no, I'm going to put it all together myself. Or when my grandparents were still alive, they were the ones who always had it at their house, and we would go over and enjoy Christmas breakfast with them. Alright guys, I think that's looking pretty good. I think we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. And all we're going to do is bring in our pan, and you'll need a 9 by 13 inch pan for this. And I've already gone ahead and lightly sprayed the bottom with cooking spray. And we're just actually, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and sort of treat this like a lasagna. And I'm going to start by laying a little bit of egg right down on the bottom. And I found that this kind of helps the bread start soaking up the egg mixture. Roll that around. And then we're just going to lay in our bread. we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more egg on before we put our cheese down. And again, this is just going to help it start soaking in. I'm not too concerned about getting an even layer of eggs in at this point because we are going to top it all off. And the longer it sits overnight, the more it will absorb. The next thing I'm going to do is top it with the cheese. And it's okay if it overlaps a little bit. It's all going to melt in the oven together. And I do normally take a piece and kind of try and fit it in over on the edges. I just kind of fold it and get it to fit so we get lovely cheesy goodness throughout the whole dish. Here we go. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and put some of my egg mixture down. And I'm going to put on our last layer of bread. What I do with the crusts that I've cut off is I either dehydrate them or I allow them to stale up. And then I either turn them into breadcrumbs or I turn them into stuffing. So none of this bread is going to go to waste. I'm just going to fit this last piece of bread right here on the edge. Kind of just stuff it in there. And again with the eggs one more time. And now our last layer of cheese. And while I put this layer on, I would like to remind you guys of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that JPick of Death and I have going on our channels. If you would like to be a part of that, it's really easy. All you got to do is go out and make a cooking video and then post it to your channel. And once you've done that, let either JPick or I know down in the comment section of our latest cooking videos, or if you're a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there as well. We are up over 130 recipes on the playlist. Your guys' support this year on it has been amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with in the new year. So let me actually grab some more cheese here. And sometimes it takes a little bit less, sometimes it takes a little bit more. It all depends on your bread, actually, and the size that your bread ends up cutting down to. And the slope of your pan as well. So let's get the last of this in here. And we'll go ahead and put on one more piece here on the edges. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and kind of press it down into the pan to kind of help the eggs start soaking up into the bread. And the last thing I'm going to do is pour the remaining eggs right on top. And then I'm just going to make sure it kind of spreads around and gets up over into the corners. So it will start seeping down and soaking in. But we do want to make sure we do get eggs up here on the top. That will help prevent the cheese from drying out while it sits in the refrigerator overnight. And I'm just kind of gently pressing down on the edges, trying to help spread the egg mixture all the way through. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and pop this over into my refrigerator and allow it to set up overnight. And then in the morning when we get up, I will put it into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and then I will remove the aluminum foil and let it bake for another 15 minutes or until the top is nice and bubbly and brown and it's been baked all the way through. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, our cheese strata is out of the oven, and this is how it should look, nice and brown on top. And when you first take it out, it will have risen a little bit, but as you allow it to cool on the counter for about 10 minutes, it kind of shrinks down a little bit, and that's totally to be expected. So let's go ahead and get in here and cut ourselves a slice, and I'm going for my favorite piece. Oh, that looks so good. Let's go ahead and put it on our plate. The cheese is still nice and oozy. Let's get this out of our way. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see. Whoa, no you can't. How nice and oozy and gooey the cheese is in this. It's so good. So let's get down here. Let me show you how I finish it off. And the way we do that is with a spoonful of raspberry jelly. Right there on top. That's how we've always had it. So let's get in here and give it a little taste. So I'm going to scoop up a little bit of the raspberry jelly. And I'm going right for that ooey gooey cheesy corner. This is so good. And I'm just serving it with a little bit of sausage on the side. It's also really good with bacon or with Canadian bacon or even a small ham steak. But this is what we traditionally have every Christmas morning. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have, leave me a comment down below. Remember to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist, as well as my Elder Scrolls and Fallout Cookbook playlist. I will leave links down in the description to them. And from my family to yours, I hope you have the merriest of holidays. Thank you so very much for joining me. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.